You can use the chat box, guys, or you can unmute and talk at any time. Again, I want to be super, super laid back. Since this is going to be shared later, I will go ahead and introduce myself. Alicia Watkins. I'm a STAR consultant. As I've already told everyone on the call, we do have limited time, so we're going to kind of dive right in. But basically what we're doing, for those who are watching the replay or don't really know what's going on from our team, is we wanted to get together and just kind of have a strategy meeting based around issues or concerns that different people on our team are currently having, or questions they might have. So that's kind of the point. I did go through and kind of throw up on the screen some different questions that we've had on the team page. And then what I'll have you guys do, hopefully with me, is we'll just go through and kind of compile advice for people and each other, because there's no one size fits all. Some things I do might not work for you guys, and you guys might be doing something that's really cool that I haven't even thought about. So that's the point of kind of working together as a team. Just in case we start talking and numbers come up or awards come up, I went ahead and included the income disclosure here so that we would all be covered. So now we don't have to worry about it. It is there. If anyone watches the replay, they can pause it, they can read it. We should be squared away. Forward thinking, that's that teacher life. All right, guys, I'm going to come out of the presentation mode. You still should be able to see the screen, and I'll try to zoom in just a little bit. For those who don't know, and I think everyone here knows, except for maybe Madeline, I'm a teacher. So this is literally something that I would do with my students. We kind of would talk about something, and then I would say, well, give me your input. So that's kind of my goal here. It's not letting me zoom this in for some reason. It must be because of Zoom not letting me zoom. That's weird enough. But positivity. I just want to make sure that we're kind of all on the same page there. I know some of us are having challenges in our business, myself included, but the goal of this meeting is not necessarily to complain. It is really to come up with solutions. So let's brainstorm, let's come up with some things. Something we've been talking about a lot lately to kind of start us out is mindset. And I think that a lot of times we beat ourselves up. I was actually having a conversation with someone this morning who's on our team, who's not on the call. And we were talking about how we became very accustomed to very high PRV. And since the income disclosure is there, I'll just go ahead and say it. It was usually for both of us, 2K and up per month. And then when I hit January, it was like I was struggling to get 1,000. And I know that a lot of people are not necessarily on those numbers, but we've seen some dips and it's concerning. So we have to kind of remain confident. Remember, there are challenging months. We've been talking about, you know, there's going to be ebbs and flows. My roller coaster analogy, if you guys saw that today. So just maintain your confidence. I think that's really important. You got to kind of think positive or speak positive when you're talking to customers or on team pages. Totally okay to say, hey, this is an issue, but I think it's important that we don't create the culture of negativity, the complaining. And I don't really see that. I just think that it's worth saying. Be authentic. I don't think any of you guys on here have any trouble with that. But we don't lie to people. And I would just watch Cynthia's live. She was doing her and Ashley. For those who don't know, Cynthia is my stepmom. So they were doing a live smelling the 10 new scents. And I was laughing so hard because both of them were like, not that one, not that one. So that's what I mean by be authentic. Like when I say positive, that doesn't mean lie to people. You can say, I don't like it. You can say, it's not for me. You can even say, you know what, I straight up don't like that. But that doesn't mean someone else won't. And Cynthia actually said that. She was like, not for me, but if you like bakery scents, maybe you'll like it. So be authentic. We overlook this one a lot, I think, taking time to take care of ourselves. I'm even guilty of this one, especially for the last 2-3 weeks. Life's been very hectic. So that's why yesterday I kind of just like shut off and took care of myself. So make sure that you do take care of yourself, whatever that looks like. So my left-hand side, those are my notes. That's kind of things that I'm doing to kind of keep myself from squirreling because I talk a lot. So I want to hear from you guys. You can chat box it, you can unmute, whatever. What kind of things do you think that we can do, or maybe we should do on this topic? And it literally can be anything. Nothing is too minor. What do you guys think? You're like, oh my gosh, she just threw it on us. I'm going to go ahead and add something. I'll give you an example. Maybe that'll make it easier. So I'm thinking about Cynthia. She did her live video reviewing products. And she, like I said, she actually said, I don't really like this one. But she was still confident, you know, the product is still good. She was positive, you might like it, but the authenticity of, you know, I don't really like it myself. That's important, that people can actually see that we're honest. And we're going to talk more about that in a little bit and why that's important. I think this action or this topic is hard to come up with ideas because it's different for everybody. And you don't have to say this one out loud, guys. They can't see the chat box in the recording. So if you'd rather type there and then I can transfer it over. Do you guys have something that you do for self-care? Like something that you know when you get overwhelmed? Do you have something that you guys do? Do you read? Do you work out? I don't anymore, but I know some people do. Do you guys have something that you do when you're needing to take a break? Look, I can see some people's faces moving like, breaks? What are breaks? That's your homework, guys. If you don't have something, you got to come up with something. I'm going to keep rolling because I know that we're limited on time, and this is more personalized, but as we get into the other ones, they're more business oriented. So one of the questions that was submitted from my team was, how do you deal with objections? Browsing social media, chat with friends. That was from our last slide. And the thing about like browsing social media, I think a lot of times we get so caught up in the business side of social media that we forget that it is about being social and hanging out with people too. So I think that's a really good point. So let's get to dealing with objections, because this one is like specifically business related. Especially for newer consultants, I think this is challenging because you're trying to build, you know, your network and you're trying to get customers. And then the specific question was like, what do you say when someone says it's too expensive, or it's not for me, or I'm not going to try it, or whatever the things may be. So this is what I think you can do. And I'm actually doing some training myself. Like I'm going through training on how to handle objections and how to work on language. So as I learn more, the plan obviously is always to try it out and let you guys know how it works. But this is what I'm thinking. Brainstorm potential rejections. We already have one, too expensive, because someone on our team said, I've heard it's too expensive. So what do you say back to that? So if you know that those are potential rejections you might get, think about how you could respond to it. We do have to be positive in our responses. And if someone just flat out tells you no, my advice would be relate to them, transition organically. So if the response is like, it's too expensive, I'm broke, I can't afford it, my response would probably be, I totally understand. There once was a time when it wasn't really in my budget either. That's why I sell it. LOL, because I'm an LOL person. I put it in every text. I really do. Some people are laughing because they know I'm telling the truth. So I'd be like, it wasn't in my budget either. That's why I sold it. LOL. If you change your mind, let me know. And then I'm going to something else. So keep it positive. You don't want to totally cut someone off if they tell you no, because a lot of times it's a no right now. Doesn't mean it's going to stay a no. I've had people who said, Alicia, I am not joining Cincy. I've had people who have said, Alicia, I'm not buying Cincy. And in both of those categories, I've had people come back and change their mind. So you don't want to just be like, oh, they said no, done, I'm putting a wall up. If someone, however, is mean, belligerent, or just plain nasty to you, my advice is bless and release or block and release. If they're being mean, like really mean, just let it go. So this is what I was thinking. If someone says the product is too expensive, what kind of reactions can we have back to that? What do you guys think? Oh, there's a good one. Quality over quantity. So a lot of times I will explain something very similar to what was just put in the chat box, because I can say, oh yeah, I used to shop at the big box stores, but I realized that the wax wasn't lasting very long. And some of you on the team have told me that. Matter of fact, some of my family has told me that in very recent conversations. Or I can explain to them, you know, that the warmers are under warranty. So you can talk about how Scentsy guarantees the products. What else could we do? So we're going to talk about quality. We can talk about warranty. How else could we spin it? What if someone was to say, like, I love it, but I can't afford it. It's too expensive. What can we tell them? Party, for that matter. I'm careful with using the word party, but you can party. You can tell them, hey, if you really love this warmer and it's just not in your budget right now, let's try to get it for you for half off. This is what you would need to do in a party to get it half off. And I've actually had people reach out to me in the past with something as small as a fragrance flower. I really want a fragrance flower. It's not in my budget. Let me host a party so that I can get them for free. And that was the goal. That's what we did. So don't ever think if someone says too expensive that that's the total end of the conversation. Or if someone's like, oh my goodness, I absolutely love Scentsy products. I love, love, love them. Why not talk to them about joining? You know, have a joint conversation with them. You know, that's where I'm making it relatable to me. There once was a time when it really wasn't in my budget either. That's part of the reason why I joined, because now I can afford to buy Scentsy. And I have some people on our team who joined Scentsy for the same reason. They said, I want to join Scentsy, and whatever money I make is just to buy Scentsy. And that's fine. If that's their goal, that's perfectly fine. Anyone else have a specific objection that you've heard? I think too expensive is the most common. Are there any other like big objections you guys have heard that you want to kind of talk through? Sometimes the chat box goes a little slow, so remember, y'all can unmute anytime if you're more comfortable in the chat. I'm trying to watch at the same time. All right, we're low on time, so all is. You got one?
Who says her husband won't let her?
Who said that?
A customer to be, hopefully.
Won't let her join or won't let her buy?
Won't let her buy. So I've given her some free stuff, samples and wax and whatnot. And her excuse every time is, well, my husband won't let me. I can't have that stuff in the house.
That's a unique one. That's a really unique one. Like, is it, I don't know. You could also, I guess, segue that, because some people are like, I don't do wax and warmers. And I kind of wonder if her husband is on that wavelength. Like, he doesn't like.
He's an electrician.
But then you're like, well, we have body wash. Surely you shower.
Well, I told her, I was like, well, just put it in your classroom. Then he won't know about it.
True. And the thing is, like, that's your personality. So that's totally you. And that's what I mean by, you know, be organic. Whatever your reaction is, it needs to be you. I wouldn't say that because it doesn't sound like me, but that totally sounds like you. Put it in your classroom. It's fine. It's fine. That's funny. I don't think I've heard that objection before. That one is interesting. All right, this one was a biggie / is a biggie. And this is the thing about it. It's really difficult to actually train on PRV boosting because there's no size fits all. Like, different things work for different people. I do most of my marketing online. That's just me. Most of it comes through social media. I do have people who I work with when we're working who will come to me because they know I'm a Scentsy consultant, but 95, I would say, % of my stuff is primarily through social media, and then the stuff that I mail to people. So I do think we have to consider short game versus long game. The short game is like the immediate sales, of course. The long game is what I mean by turning those one-off customers into repeat customers. How are we going to do either one of those? We're hopefully going to build trust to turn one-off customers into repeat customers. So you do that through customer service. A lot of it actually, in my opinion, is in the follow-up. I know that doesn't help people who are like, Alicia, I'm brand new. I don't have customers to follow up with. What do I do? So my advice there is do some digging. There's tons of ideas on the team page, and that means our team page, those of you who are on my team specifically, and on Southern Wax Warriors. So there's mystery bag ideas, and there's really no wrong way to do those. And there's tons of different breakdowns. You can search mystery bags and you'll find tons. Personal specials have done well for me in the past, and you can get creative. I know Heather and I have done mini fan deals. I did at one point a deal for fragrance flowers. You just have to make sure whatever you're doing it within compliance, but sometimes that is a way to kind of incentivize people to try things for the first time. Parties and party alternatives are a really good way to also connect with new people. Again, if you're trying to figure out how to do parties, there's tons of ideas. Bag parties where you give out little sample packs, tons of different things you could do. Getting creative. I am trying to do more creative stuff, y'all. So I know it's not always easy, but if something that you've been doing isn't working, you gotta have to change a little bit. So getting creative by making something uniquely you, put your face on it, make sure that you're using real life images. We've talked about that a lot. Again, no size fits all. So some things that I do might not work for you and vice versa. And that's part of the reason I want to do like team strategy, because several of you have said like social media doesn't seem to be working for me, but that's what I do. So I'm interested to know what you guys do. Organic and genuine reach outs. What I mean by this is don't cold message people. Don't message people you don't know. And don't message people who like just added you or you just added. The people that you are messaging need to have shown some kind of interest, or you need to have some kind of connection with them. So if they are liking every Scentsy post that you post, sure, send them a message, ask them a question. If you've known them for 10 years, that's not a cold message. You know that person. But we have to be careful. That's really why direct sales have such a bad name. That's why a lot of people don't answer our messages. So I have never done cold messages, and that's the honest truth. I've never done it at all, and it's worked for me. Follow up. Not lying. I was about $200 away from my July goal when I woke up on July 31st, and I got that 200 plus PRV by sending follow-ups and just saying, hey, you bought Camu before. I know you love it. It's discontinuing. What do you want to do? Do you want to Scentsy Club it, or would you like me to get you a stock up order? Follow-up. And I am still working on follow-up systems to be better. So I'm not a master at that. But touch base with those people. And if you haven't heard from them in 3 months, there's no harm in saying, hey, I just want to check in on you. How you doing? What's going on? But again, I know that doesn't work for brand new people who are trying to build a customer base. You can follow people who have shown interest. You can follow with people who said, yeah, I'm going to buy X, Y, and Z, and didn't buy it. Maybe they forgot. Maybe they put it in their cart and didn't process it. You never know. So organically message them and say, hey, I know we talked about X warmer. I didn't see an order come through. Did you have questions or did you have problems? Sometimes they may have accidentally ordered it through someone else. Heather and I both had that happen to us before, so you never know. All right, so ideas. Anyone have ideas? Y'all know I talk so much that I'm like looking at the clock thinking we're gonna run out of time. Y'all have ideas on things that we could do to boost PRV? I know this is going to sound crazy to some people, and I know some people are not going to be comfortable with it. Honestly, I don't even know if I'm comfortable with it right now, but in-home parties, it's a possibility. Maybe you do an outside party. I've thought about doing something for Halloween. maybe. We're going to see where the COVID numbers are, and then I'll make a decision on that. But I've thought about doing something Halloween themed because it's something I love, and I think it would be really fun. Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. I've also got some weird messages from some people from your party. We'll leave that at that since this is being recorded. I'll text you later. One-on-one sniff sessions, absolutely. And I'm going to make a statement on that, hopefully in just a minute. I hope we don't get kicked out. It's on, I think, on the next slide. So we'll definitely come back to that one. The best thing I can tell you is you need to get people to try it. Even if I don't mean like, don't just give away a bunch of stuff that's going to cost you a lot of money. That's not smart. But if you can get the scent in people's hands, a lot of times they're going to be more willing to try it. A lot of times they're going to be more willing to try it. Anything else? We're low on time, so I'm about to do that.
Yeah, I have a question.
I'm about to do the lightning dash. Go ahead, Crystal.
So, I just moved. And remember I told you, like, going from the apartment to the house, and I got all the item sheets or whatever.
Yeah.
You told me I couldn't put them in mailboxes. Like, has anybody else done that? So when I was in Cincy before, that was something that somebody had talked about, that they had gotten a whole bunch of either brochures or the item sheets, and either attached their business card or something with their information, and literally just went house to house in their neighborhood, put a sign in their yard, and just kind of like let everybody know in the neighborhood, like, hey, there's a Cincy girl in your neighborhood.
I know there are rules, and I would have to go back and look at compliance to know all the rules. But I know that we're not allowed to advertise as if it's like a permanent event or shop. So if you were to put up a sign, it would need to be like Cincy open.
I'm not putting it in my, I'm not putting a sign in my yard, but I'm not opposed to like putting, I'm not opposed to being like the Chinese people and putting the menus in somebody's door. But instead of it being a Chinese menu, it being a Cincy sheet.
The thing about the mailbox is not really a Cincy thing per se. It's more about the postal service. Can't mess with people's mailboxes. And I think I've already told you, I made that mistake, didn't realize that I was breaking rules. And then someone was like, oh, you could have gotten in trouble for that. And I was like, oh, good to know. Won't do that again. So I think putting it in their door would be totally permissible. Knocking on people's door and saying, hey, I just moved in next door, if you're willing to do that. Chris was like, talking to people. But, as you meet people, Darren actually got on to me because, we've been in this house since November, and I just met some neighbors from down the street, and he was like, well, did you tell them you sell Cincy? And I was like, no. He was like, why? He was like, you should have worked that into that conversation somehow. So I do think it's important to let people know, especially because they're in your neighborhood. It's very easy for them to come sniff stuff out. Oh, Nextdoor, the Nextdoor app. I used to use that. I haven't turned it on here, but that's a really good idea. So you could go on like the Nextdoor app, and you put in your neighborhood, and you could tell people like, I just moved in, I sell Cincy, if anyone wants to come by, or brochure, whatever it might be. I saw a comment from Madeline, so I'm gonna go back up. For new consultants, it's important to tell everyone you know that you're a Cincy consultant and share what you love. That's actually the next thing that I'm kind of going toward. So let's go ahead and switch slides, because y'all know we're running low on time. So social selling, exactly what Madeline just said. I'm just going to say this from like a social media perspective. Obviously, you can do this by text. You can do it when you're talking to people. If you have a full-time job, you can talk to people at work. You have to get people to trust you by showing them that you're actually using the products, and that you actually like the products and why you like them. And this goes back to authenticity too. And y'all can see I've already put some actions here, because this is something I've been working on hardcore in the last couple of weeks. But share that you're using your counter clean. I shared that picture with you guys, or videos with you guys, from when I had just started last year, of me cleaning my counter. And it was like, I don't even know what this mess is. But people knew I was using it because I showed them that I was using it. They see that I'm holding it. They see that I'm actually cleaning up messes. If you're just like, yep, we have counter clean, it's $10. You can get one that smells like apples. Sometimes they're gonna be like, this chick hasn't even tried that. So tell people what you're using, why you love it, And a lot of times what you'll find is a lot of times people will try what you say you like, because they're like, well, if she likes it, I might like it. And they may have to hear it multiple times. I had people follow me on social media for 6 months after I joined Scentsy that never bought anything. And then all of a sudden they messaged me and said, okay, what's this Scentsy Fresh you keep talking about? What's your favorite scent? I'm going to order some. And they're Scentsy Club members now, and they get it every other month, I believe. And again, if you don't like something, tell people that. That's fine. Market yourself. On social media specifically, market yourself. I looked this up this morning. It came straight from the Scentsy blog. There are over 130,000 currently enrolled consultants. Oh, it says that they're going to let me stay on. They're not going to kick me out, so I can stay on for a little longer. So there are over 130,000 Scentsy consultants. There's only one you. And that's the thing that we have to keep in mind. And I'm not saying to like try to poach people's customers. I would never say that. But people are going to be more willing to shop from you if they see the value in shopping with you. I actually have customers who I didn't know before I joined Scentsy. They came to me via parties that I had with other people, who now exclusively shop with me. And they've told me it's because you treat me like a real person. I think about a couple of them in particular. They have hard things going on in their lives. I send them a little "I'm thinking of you" card, nothing Scentsy in it. And it just says, "You've been on my mind. I hope you're doing well." And then I put like stickers in it. And it's like motivational stickers. And not that I do it for the sale, but 9 times out of 10, within a few weeks, I usually get sales from those people, or messages at least from those people who say, hey, I'm going to be placing an order soon. So you got to market yourself as like, this is me and this is who I am. That's why I talk about how much I love fall and Halloween and all that stuff. Can't be Scentsy all the time, because that becomes, scammy Sammy, what's what I call it. Have plans in place for your social media, because I know that's something that a lot of people don't do, myself included. I've been guilty, where I just kind of post randomly, like, oh, I got to clean up a mess. Let me take a video with Counter Clean. Just because you take the video doesn't mean you have to share it immediately, because then you end up with 20,000 videos using Counter Clean in one day versus kind of spreading them out, because you're not going to use Counter Clean every day. I hope that makes sense. So that's what I'm talking about over here on actions. You can do what I call batch creating, and that's not something I came up with. That's a real phrase. But you can batch create and save them in your camera roll, save them in your drafts. And then when you need content, you can post it. I actually am revamping my VIP page, y'all, and my Instagram. My Facebook, like my regular Facebook, seems to be doing okay. But I'm like thinking of what can I do to up engagement. So I'm thinking like the Motivation Monday that I do with you guys, I want to start sharing something similar in my VIP page. And I'm not going to make it about Scentsy. Instead of it being like, your Scentsy job is a roller coaster, I'm just going to be like, your life is a roller coaster. Because I think that those things apply to everybody. What? Can you hang out with brothers for like 5 more minutes? And show your crazy kids or dogs or significant others, because people love that. They never go away. Yeah, so I'm just thinking like, okay, Motivation Monday, Tip Tuesday, Wellness Wednesday, different things that I can do to bring more value to people. Because what I found is even my people who are like die-hard Scentsy, they've started to dwindle in their engagement. Have you guys experienced the same thing? Heather's nodding her head like a little bit. I can't see everybody. I can only see like 4 or 5 people. But some people who like customer-wise who have been diehards, they're slacking on their engagement. And I don't think it's that it's intentional. I just think it's like, okay, I'm seeing the same stuff. So I'm trying to come up with new ways to engage with them and kind of keep things fun. So that goes back to the planning piece. I'm gonna have to plan out how to do that. Kind of like how I do with you guys, where I do Team Me Tuesday. I'm gonna have to literally sit down and think, okay, what am I gonna share on Monday? What am I gonna share on Tuesday? And I did that with the parties that we just did for like Last Chance First Glance. And I knew what I was gonna do a week, 2 weeks in advance. It does take some work up front, but once it's planned, it's super easy. I've been using Visly. You can also do Facebook scheduling in groups, not on a personal page, but you can do it in groups where you tell Facebook, you type out the post, add the pictures, the video, whatever, and you tell it what time to post. So you could literally sit down on whatever day is your day. My day is usually Saturday, especially during the school year. Like I'll sit down and I'll plan out, okay, what am I going to do? Create the content, type out the messages, and kind of be ready to go. So I have a calendar, and I know my lighting is absolutely horrible, and it's nothing I do is probably going to fix it. It usually just makes it worse. But I have like a calendar book just for Scentsy. And I write out like weekly, what meetings am I planning on having or going to? And then from there, I look at, what am I going to do each day? Use your different stuff, y'all. Use Reels if you're on Instagram. I know that they're uncomfortable at first, but they really do help you connect with new people. Stories are really big. I know a lot of people, both Facebook and Instagram, they don't go to pages anymore. They don't look at everyone's page. They just click that little circle at the top and they go through stories. My personal rule of thumb has become less Scentsy on the main page, more Scentsy in the stories. But even in the stories, I'm trying to do engagement and things that are not Scentsy. Like Crystal's gonna know what I'm talking about. Does pineapple go on pizza? I literally was eating pizza right before I got on this call, and I asked people, does pineapple go on pizza? And you'd be surprised how many reactions I get, like lightning fast. Does that mean that they're going to be buying Scentsy from me? Maybe, maybe not. I have no clue. But that's at least getting them to engage and have a conversation with me, because then I'm going to message them back and be like, well, what kind of pizza do you like? What's wrong with pineapple on pizza, or whatever? And then we'll have a conversation, hopefully. I talk too much. Y'all know that. What kind of stuff do you guys think? Because I just threw a few ideas on there. What are you guys doing that's working, or is there something that's not working? What do you guys think? I'm gonna add something. And this one's tough for me, going into the direct messages when things start to get quiet. Tag people, draw their attention to stuff. 9 times out of 10, they don't mind. There's lots of different things that you guys can do. But I know it's challenging. Stick with it. Y'all are so quiet. But I'm happy y'all are here. I don't know if I've told y'all, but I've been really nervous to do a Zoom for a long time, because I was like, if I do a Zoom, will no one show up? Will I be by myself? That would be kind of embarrassing. So I'm so happy y'all popping on with it. All right, so the question, I talk about social media because, like I said, that's where I do most of my marketing. That's where most of my business comes from. It's where I get people interested in what I'm using. But I realize it doesn't work for everybody. It depends on your audience, and it depends on a lot of different factors. So the question was, how can I grow off of social media, specifically without breaking the bank? So I pulled this statistic for you guys. I don't even remember where I got it, but I saw it. It was actually in my camera roll on my phone to share with you guys on the team page, and then it just fit this perfect. So I went ahead and put it on there. 73% of consumers said they were likely to buy a product after trying it, but only 25% of consumers said the same thing about seeing a TV commercial. And if you think about it, there are certain TV commercials that you probably saw 15 years ago that still stick out in your brain. Those are the type of things that are going to get people to buy stuff. But most people, I'm going to say 75, I'm going to round, 75% of people say that they're more likely to buy it after trying it. So what do? We give them an opportunity to try it. Samples, business cards, flyers, parties. I throw that in there because I really do think that that's a good way to get new people as customers. Is Charlotte still on here? I'm going to talk about Charlotte. Charlotte got a shopping link from me. We did not have an official party. And Charlotte, I included the income disclosure, and I hope you don't mind me talking about you. Charlotte did not have a party. She only got a shopping link. It was like the beginning of January or February. And within like 2 weeks, she had like $600 on this shopping link. And I was like, girl, that was all you. None of it was me, because there's been no shopping link. You need to, there's been no party. Like, you need to join. That's still technically a party because I created her a shopping link. And that's a whole nother issue, because that's a joint conversation as well. But if Charlotte had not joined, what I would have done is I would have been reaching out to all of those people who shopped on her shopping link. I would have been trying to turn those one-off customers into repeat customers, like I was saying earlier. So if you know, like 4 people, 3 people, 2 people to start out with, I don't really care how many, you just got to get going, who are willing to do an event for you, that's a way to grow your business. My first full month with Scentsy was August of last year, and I think I did 3 or 4 parties, Heather being one of them, in my first month or 2. And I had people who bought from me pretty regularly from those parties until most of those party people ended up joining. And then of course their people bought from them, which is normal. So think about that. Parties, that's a really great way to get new customers, and then make a connection with them, add them on social media, send them a text, thank you, and go from there. Referrals and word of mouth also are really good. Even if they're not actually customers yet, sometimes just when people want to support you, they'll say like, you know, my friend sells Scentsy. That's a referral, even if they aren't buying from you. People can refer you. Let me see what I got going on. Snap and share. Heather said, I copied your idea with the snap and share on social media with Happy Mail. And anytime I give out samples and goodies, but cannot get anyone to actually do it. Even offered additional freebies. Remember those personal specials? I'm saying that, I know Heather did it right, but those are personal specials if they tag me as a reward. It looks like they're not really being able to do it. I would say ask them. When you do your follow-up, ask them like, hey, would you mind snapping a picture and tagging me on social media? And if they don't want to post it themselves, you can say, well, text it to me. And then you could post it and kind of blur out their name and you can share it. I would say totally do that. And if they say no, I mean, like, that's the worst that's going to happen is they say no. I do not have a ton of success with snap and share. And I think that's a pretty normal response. But if you can get just a handful of people to do it, it can pay off in the long run. I think I kind of trained up a handful of people to really do that for me. And I actually asked on my team page, not my team page, on my VIP page a couple of times, like, hey guys, I would really love if you'd help me out and share your next package with on social media and just tag me in it. And maybe 5 or 6 actually do it, like not a ton do it, but some will do it. Just ask them. Sometimes they don't even read the stickers on our mail is what I found, or flyers. Sometimes they don't even read the flyers. So when you're doing your follow-up, ask them. Ask them about what you actually sent them. Like you can say, did you see the brochure about whatever you sent them? And then if they say no, you can say, oh, well, I thought I put it in there. Let me tell you about it. Like that's going to be me about Scentsy Club in a week when I start doing my follow-ups for my last round of mail. Hopefully that helps. What else do you guys think? What have you guys done? Because like I said, I do probably 95% of my stuff from social media. So what do you guys do? Give me a few minutes. What do you guys do? Or what are you going to try to do?
So one thing that I've done is the ladies that I go to church with is kind of spam them with samples after church when I first started. and that worked for a lot of sales. But some things that I've planned to do, I haven't done it yet, is, and I've actually had these shirts made for a couple months now, but one shirt says, ask me for a sample. I was going to make felt samples and wear the shirt to town, have the samples in my pocketbook with a business card, pass it out. But I haven't got there yet because the world is kind of crazy right now with just people in general. And so, like, what if I give my number out to a random person that turns out to be, you know, whoever?
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, Charlotte, but I got the really weird phone calls. I got like 2 or 3 of them, and it was, hey, I found your business card in a cigarette shop. And I was like, red flag.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
So I understand that. And so I've even thought, like, when I make my next business card, my phone number probably will not be on it.
Yeah, I thought about ordering some more that does not have it on there just for that purpose.
Yeah, I think next time it'll just be my email, and I will give my phone number to established customers only in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, clothing that lets people know you're a Scentsy consultant is not a bad idea. Sometimes, like at the grocery store, some people will be like, oh, you sell Scentsy?
Yeah. And the other thing that I want to do is start a referral program. But I've got all these tons of ideas floating around. I just don't know which one to go with.
That's a good idea too. And referral programs, I'm sure most of you know, are considered personal special. So you just make sure that you communicate those one-on-one. You can say, I have a referral program. You can say that publicly, but you can't say exactly whatever it is. And I would just make sure it's something that's not going to break the bank, and have like your guidelines for exactly what you want to do with it. I've done like birthday programs. Your house sounds just like my house.
Yeah, that's why they're coming down the hallway.
I've done a birthday program. Crystal says you can get a Google Voice number. It's free and it can come to your cell phone, but you aren't giving out your personal number. You could do that. I even like, because teacher life, I used to use like Remind 101 and different things like that. So you can do a lot of different programs that like hide your number, gives you a fake number. But I don't know. I just think I'm just going to do email. I don't want to have to keep up with anything extra because that's just me. But those are ideas. What else, y'all? Anything else you can think of off of social media? I think the big thing is becoming confident enough to start conversations with people, whether it's people you know or people you don't. I think that a lot of times we get in our own heads. We automatically assume people are going to tell us no, or they're going to look at us funny, or they're going to treat us differently. So we just don't say anything. Kind of like when I met my neighbor and she literally was asking me about me being a teacher. And Darren told me, like, that was your way to be like, yeah, I'm a teacher and I do Scentsy. Y'all were already talking about your job. Tell her about your other job. And I just didn't think about it. I'm just being honest. I didn't think about it. So I think we have to be very intentional in our conversations with new people we're meeting or people we already know even, to have those conversations and offer the samples. But to offer samples, y'all know that means you got to have samples. And I will tell you guys, and I know my lighting is absolutely horrible, so I apologize. I don't even know if y'all can see this really. But like even this is a sample because it's got the little rub and sniff sticker on it. So even something like that, if they can smell it, that's a sample. Normally, if you can get the scent into people's hands, they become believers. Like going back to objections, just thinking about it. Someone told me just this past week, yeah, I have some warmers in my bathroom. They're not Scentsy warmers, it's not Scentsy wax. It's just wax, but I can never smell the wax. So I don't want to pay $6 a bar because I don't know if I'm actually smell it. And I said, let me let you take some with you and try it so you can see the difference. I guarantee you're going to smell this one for a longer period than whatever it is that you've been buying. So if you can get it into people's hands, I think they're going to be more willing and likely to order. And then even if they don't order, maybe they'll do a referral for you. What do y'all think? We've gone to like 50 minutes now. We got lucky that it didn't kick us out. No, I did not, but I'm busy right now, so I'll handle that in a minute. All right, since we're not kicked out yet, and I don't know how much longer it's going to give us. Anybody have questions? Something that maybe you submitted that I left off? I think I hit everything that was sent in. But if I didn't, y'all let me know and we can chat it out. All right, don't go just yet. I'm gonna turn the recording off.